Hello, welcome. How can I help you today? Also, your 2 o'clock appointment. No problem. Just let me check in the appointment book for you. What was your name, please? Okay, thank you. Let's have a look. Okay, yeah, I can see you here. So just to make sure, you're looking for a new camera, of course, and you'd also like to know a little bit of information about different settings and how cameras work, as well as developing. Is that right? No problem. That's great, we can do that for you, no problem at all. Well, my name is Chloe and I will be helping you today. You're right on time, so we've already got everything set up for you. We've got a really good lineup of different cameras, so I'm pretty confident that we will find something that's suited to you. So to get started, I'll just need a little bit of information from you, if that's okay. It'll just help me to narrow down the different choices we have, and just to be sure that I'm going to find the perfect camera for you and what suits your needs. Is that alright? Perfect. I'll also be able to talk through all of our different offers that we have at the moment, just for accessories like film, camera cleaning equipment, negative holders, photo paper if you do your own developing as well. But we can get to that later, alright? Okay, so to start off with, what kind of photos do you like taking? Okay, so more in that sort of field. I really like that style too. I do agree, it's super fun to photograph. And how long have you been taking photographs? Okay. Right, so you're still in the beginner to intermediate range. Enthusiast, okay. No problem, yeah, we can explain all the different things to you. If you've got any questions throughout, just let me know and I'll be able to answer those for you. I will go through each setting on the cameras just to show you what they do, but we do have some as well that have automatic modes, so you can always use that. You have that to fall back on if you're not quite confident enough to use the manual modes straight away, which is usually the case, and that's absolutely fine. Okay, good. I think I already know which kind of things to show you, so shall we get straight into it? Great. Okay, so I think we will start you off with an SLR camera. Now, the SLRs are really picking up in popularity recently, and I think that they will really take off soon as well. This is the Olympus OM30, and I think it's a really good starter camera because it's quite lightweight, it's really small, not heavy at all, and it is really quite easy to use. Now, how the SLRs work, just so that I can touch on it with you, I'll try not to get too technical, but I did want to just explain, just in case you wanted to know. So, what happens with SLRs is there is a movable mirror behind the lens, sort of at an angle. This reflects an image through a 5-sided prism, which is about here, also called a pentaprism, or a pair of mirrors. onto a glass screen, which is the viewfinder. This is how you're able to see the image in the frame. When the shutter button is pressed, the main mirror is flipped up, which you'll be able to hear if I do it now, like that. So when the mirror is flipped up and out of the way, the light can then pass straight through the lens and onto the film, which is usually loaded about here. And the film is coated in millions of light-sensitive silver halide crystals. Also, when the mirror is flipped, this is why you can't see for a split second through the viewfinder. It's because it cuts off the viewfinder and allows the light to travel straight through onto the film. Okay? Are you still with me? I know it's a lot to take in at the beginning, but once you get into it, it's really not so complex. And I guess you don't really need to know how the cameras work in order to take photos, it's just if you were interested. So, with this model, the OM30, you can use automatic mode if you wish. It does have it, which is really good for beginners like yourself. It has partial autofocus, and this is driven by the batteries, which you can put in here. But I prefer to use the manual focus. But of course it's completely down to your personal preference and what works best for you. Because of the partial auto settings, it does make it a really, really good starter camera. But for today we're going to keep it on manual while I show you the different settings and what they can do. Okay? It's considered a mid-range model, this particular one, and it has OM fitting lenses. You've got your shutter speed down the side here by changing this from 1 to 1,000th of a second. I'll keep it on 1 for now. You've got your ISO speed here, which is dependent on the film type that you put in, of course, and we'll touch on that in a little while. Of course, on the lens you have your aperture, this one goes in halves too. It goes from 2.8 through to f22. You've got your focus range, of course, focus ring, which is self-explanatory, and this lens is a 28mm, but it can also be used for macro too. so it's a good general purpose lens, I would say. There's also this little part on the back, which is sort of a little window, which is where you put part of your film. The box from your film. So when you load up the camera, the brand and the ISO of the film can go here, just so you don't forget, because it might be a while until you use your camera again, and you don't want to forget what film kind you have in there. It's very easily done. If you do wish to change the lenses, you can do so by pressing this little silver bit here and this one at the same time and gently twisting. So here you can see our mirror on the inside. And when I press the shutter, it lifts, as you can see. To pop the lens back on, you line this red dot with this one while pressing those two parts in again. And twisting until it clicks just like that. Now, to load film, you can lift this part up here and it opens up. I have this film just to show you how we load it. So you pop your film in there and then pull this bit across. Now over here there are little parts that have slits. And you can feed that into one of those. Also make sure that the sprockets on the film, which are these little holes, align with some lumpy parts that are on this bit here. And then you can wind it on like that, and that is secure. You can then close it up, push that bit back down, and then on the top it says S. If you keep pressing the shutter and winding it on, until it gets to the number 1, then it's ready to go. And obviously as you take more and more photos, this number will raise. So when you get to 24, you might be at the end of your film if it's only 24 exposures. But it's just so that you can keep an eye on how many you've taken and how many you may have left. Once your film is done and you've exposed it all, you can pop this little bit around that says R, that's for rewind, and you lift this little pad up and move it in the direction the arrow is pointing. Until you hear that click. And at that point, you can lift it back up again. And there is our film, ready to be developed. With this particular model, you can see that it has a focus ring inside, sort of like a circle shape. When you twist the focus ring on the lens, it will of course adjust this. You know your subject is in focus when the grid disappears and the circle is defined and almost clear. You have to, of course, adjust your focus depending on where your subject is in the frame. You can also add a flash to this particular camera. It will go here on the hot shoe, and it will sort of speak to your camera through these metal points here, but you would need the batteries for that. Normally I would recommend a 400 ISA film to start off with, as it's a little more forgiving. It can be used on a day-to-day basis and even on brighter days as well as more dull days without too much grain, so it's really great for a beginner film. The next camera I have is this Reflector 2. It's a bit of an older model, but I did want to show you this as an option. It's one that takes medium format film, or 120 film in this case, which is my personal favourite. I really think the quality of image that you get with 120 is like nothing else there is. Usually the lenses on these types of cameras offer a really good shallow depth of field. That is a really large aperture, though not so much with this model. It's a 75mm f3.5 lens, but it still offers a really lovely quality. Now, it has shutter speed from bulb mode through to 200th of a second, which you can change just by adjusting this, of course, this ring here. I'll keep him on bulb mode for now. Bulb mode is so that you can keep the shutter pressed down for as long as you like, and it's really good for longer exposures. That's what that's for. The aperture can be changed here with this little arrow. This part. It goes from f3.5 to f16, and the focus can be changed with this little lever right right down at the bottom. And you can see as I change the focus, the lenses move. On the back is a little guide, and the frame counter is this small red window you can see here. Now, you might wonder where the viewfinder is, or why this has two lenses. And that's because this is a twin lens reflex camera, unlike the previous model, which was a single lens reflex. The way this camera works is that it has two lenses that are the same focal length. One of these lenses is the taking lens. That's the one that takes the image, obviously. And the other is used for the viewfinder, which is looked down into. Here is the shutter. So you can see that this is the one that takes the image. The viewfinder can be opened here. It opens up like this. It is made up of a 45-degree mirror and a matte focusing screen encased inside this pop-up hood. The two lenses are connected, so what you see through the viewfinder is the image you will get. You can see that the focal length is quite tightly framed on this model, and how the focus changes when I adjust the little lever. The viewfinder is also quite dull on this model, but it shouldn't be a problem on a sunny day. There's also this small little magnifying part, just in case you can't tell if something is in focus or not. You can also put this little flap down on the top. It clips away so that you can see through the viewfinder in this way. Just put the viewfinder back down. It opens up here on the bottom, and this little spool comes out again. So on the inside you can see where the film will go on this little spool here, and on this one here. You can see as I change the aperture dial that it changes the amount of light entering the camera. So the lower the F number, the larger the aperture, the more light that enters the camera, and the shallower the depth of field. You wind up the film here. And depending on what size images your camera takes, with medium format, it could be 6 by 6 centimeters or 6 by 7, for example, or even different sizes. You will get roughly 12 to 24 exposures generally. With 120 film at 6 by 6, you will get 12 images, and if you have 220 film, that's the same width as 120 but twice the length. You will get 24 exposures. This camera is just a little baby in comparison to some of his bigger brothers, but I really like it, and I think that it's a nice simple camera to start off with. Would you like to see some film that I have for this camera? Great. So I have some 120 film. Here. And this is the Fuji color, so it's color film, and it's professional quality, high speed, for use in daylight too. Very fine grain color, negative film. It's a very fine grain color negative film, so I think that this would be a fantastic choice for the type of images that you're looking to take and you want to focus on. It offers a high range of exposure, so it's a smooth transition from the highlights to the shadows, and it provides a great skin tone. It's very smooth on the skin tones as well, with great colour reproduction. I do also have black and white film too. This is the Ilford Plus, and it's 400 ISO too. But again, it's great for an all-around type film with a very fine grain, and great for action shots, even in slightly lower light too. Now, if you'd like the 35mm camera, we do have some extras available. We have the negative sleeves, or negative holders, and when your film's been developed, it's usually cut into strips of 6 or maybe even 7 sometimes. And this holds 7 rows of 6 or 7 images, And you can keep these in a folder if you wish, so that all your film is in the same place. Or you can fold them down to an accordion shape like this and store them like this. It's completely up to you. But it's a really easy way to store them, and with them being transparent as well, it's much easier, so you can just hold them up to the light to see what the images are if you're not sure and you've forgotten to label them, which sometimes happens too. Do you have your own dark room at the moment, or do you have access to a dark room? I'm sure in time you will have your own, but for now, yes, I'd highly recommend using a family member's if you do have access to one. It's just so rewarding to be able to see the whole process of creating an image from the point of view seeing the photo to actually being able to develop the film yourself and watching the photo appear through the chemicals. It's really amazing to see it all the way through. If you do get a chance, I would highly recommend for you to try it yourself at least once. We also have this photo paper as well. So if you do get a chance to work in a dark room, this is a great paper to use. It's 8 by 10 and it is glossy finish. It is black and white photo paper, but we do also have colour in the back too that I can show you. It's a pack of 100, so there's plenty for you to print. And it's a really good thickness too. It does create really high quality prints. And you can also print from your colour negatives onto black and white photosensitive paper. It really doesn't matter, but of course it will be a black and white image in the end, but it will expose in exactly the same way. But I hope this was helpful, and if you haven't made a decision yet as to which camera you would like, then don't worry. Have a think about it, and I would really love if you was to come back to see me. If you had any other questions, I'd be more than happy to answer those for you. I'm also here to explain anything else that we went over or that you're not sure of. And I hope to see you back here again soon.